moment's notice. So yeah, let's dive into the incredible story of how and why Switzerland built this hidden world. I mean, that's the big question, right? How do you even begin to do something like that? How do you make almost 9 million people just disappear? We're not talking about a city here. We're talking about an entire country smack in the middle of Europe.
Well, the answer, and it sounds kind of crazy, was to just dig, to burrow deep down into those famous mountains and right under their cities, creating a whole parallel country, totally hidden from the rest of the world.
Now, to really get why they did this, we've got to rewind the clock back to the Cold War. You see, this whole thing wasn't about being aggressive. No, it was all about survival. It was about this really unique defense idea that basically turned Switzerland into, well, a nation of hedgehogs. Just think about where they were. You've got this small, famously neutral country, right? And it's wedged between two massive nuclear-armed superpowers, NATO on one side, the Warsaw Pact on the other. The threat was real. You could feel it. So the question was, how on earth could they survive a war they wanted no part of? And this quote, it just perfectly captures their whole mindset. Look, the goal was never to win a war against a superpower. That's impossible. The goal was to be that hedgehog, to be so prickly, so difficult, so incredibly expensive to attack that anyone even thinking about invading would just look at it and say, you know what, never mind. It's not worth the hassle. So this is where it gets really interesting when you look at the different strategies. You have the superpowers with their whole doctrine of mutually assured destruction, MAD. The basic idea being if you launch, we launch, and everybody loses. But the Swiss, they went a totally different route. They called it credible defense. It wasn't about blowing up the enemy, it was about making sure their own people could survive and outlast any conflict, turning any attempt to occupy them into an absolute logistical nightmare. Okay, so that's the hedgehog theory. But how do you turn that idea into actual, concrete reality? Well, that brings us to their solution. And it involved a construction project on a scale that is honestly hard to even wrap your head around. So back in 1963, this whole concept actually became law. They called it total national defense, and it basically said that there had to be a protected shelter space for every single person living in Switzerland. And I mean, this wasn't just a friendly suggestion, it was the law. And what that meant was, for decades, if you built anything new, it didn't matter if it was a huge apartment building or just a regular family home, you were legally required to include your own nuclear-proof bunker. So what you're seeing here is just that. A normal-looking building, but hidden right below the surface is its secret concrete twin, fully equipped with massive blast doors, ventilation systems, the whole shebang. And the result of all this? Get this, 370,000 bunkers. That is a vast network with enough space to shelter all 9 million people in the country and still have room left over. I mean, seriously, no other country on Earth has ever done anything even close to this. And the variety of these things is just wild. We're talking everything from little private shelters in someone's basement all the way up to huge artillery forts carved straight into the Alps. They even built camouflaged fortresses that looked like charming little houses, like the famous Villa Rose. And then you've got these gigantic public shelters like the Sonnenberg Tunnel, which was literally a highway tunnel designed to protect 20,000 people. But then, of course, the Cold War ended. The threat of nuclear war started to fade away, and suddenly Switzerland was left with this whole country full of empty, really expensive bunkers. And that's where the story takes a really unexpected and kind of brilliant turn. Yeah, this was the big question, right? The apocalypse never showed up, so what in the world are you supposed to do with thousands and thousands of empty, obsolete bunkers? Well, the answer turned out to be a total masterclass in creative thinking. For some people, believe it or not, the answer was cheese. Turns out the steady, cool temperature and high humidity inside an old military fort is the absolute perfect place to age thousands of wheels of amazing Gruyere and Emmentaler cheese. It's kind of like that old saying about turning swords into plowshares, except here it's turning cannons into cheese. Oh, but it did not stop with cheese. Not even close. Bunkers have been turned into one-of-a-kind hotels like La Claustra, deep inside a mountain. They've become museums, high-tech mushroom farms, and even private homes. People live in these things. The Swiss basically took these relics of Cold War fear and turned them into places of business and wonder. But maybe the most important new use for these bunkers is this, turning them into super secure data centers. I mean, think about it. In today's world, our data is priceless. It's the new gold. So what better place to keep it safe
than in a nuclear bomb-proof vault buried deep inside a mountain.
And here's the kicker. It's not just about security. It's also about being green. Data centers, as you might know, produce a ton of heat and use a crazy amount of energy to keep cool. But when you put them underground, the natural constant cool temperature of the rock does most of that cooling work for you, for free. And just look at the difference it makes. A study found that an underground data center produces 93% less CO2 than one above ground. That is a massive, massive win for the environment. It's basically taking an old Cold War defense plan and turning it into a solution for our modern climate crisis.
So all of this brings us to today. What do we make of this incredible concrete legacy? Is it just a weird relic of the past? Or is there maybe a blueprint in there for the future?
You know, it's funny how people's feelings about these bunkers have really come full circle. Back in the 60s, they were seen as absolutely necessary for survival. Then, by the 90s, after the Berlin Wall fell, a lot of people just saw them as expensive, useless relics. But then, after the invasion of Ukraine in 2022, suddenly everyone was interested in them again. So today, they're this really strange mix of things: a symbol of Swiss identity, a cool tourist attraction, and a surprising center for modern innovation. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question. In a world that feels more and more uncertain, was this whole underground project just a paranoid fantasy from a different time? Or is Switzerland's incredible culture of being prepared for anything a lesson that maybe the rest of us should start paying attention to again? So before we get to all the cool futuristic stuff, we've got to take a step back and look at how we used to do it. And honestly, the old way was, well, it was kind of genius in its own right. We're talking about a method called free fall casting. And this is what's so cool about it. It's brilliant because it's so simple. You literally just use gravity to do all the hard work. You dig a shaft and then you just drop the concrete in. I mean, how elegant is that? It's the Earth itself doing the heavy lifting to build the foundations of our world, right? You're just harnessing a basic force of nature. That means you don't need a ton of complex, expensive machinery. It was super effective for building deep foundations, and for its time, it was pretty safe too. This was the gold standard for a long time. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? This is where the old method kind of hits a wall, literally. It was ingenious, for sure, but man, was it slow. And it took a ton of people to get it done. The real problem, though, when you tried to build something really, really big with it, the costs just went through the roof. It just wasn't scalable. So it was clear we needed something new, a better way. So what's the solution? Well, you don't just tweak the old system. You have to throw it out and start over. We're talking about a complete revolution. The answer wasn't just a small improvement, it was a total shift in thinking, moving away from human power and embracing automation. And this is it, the game changer. What you're looking at is the idea of a mega boring machine. We're talking about a massive, fully autonomous machine that drills deep into the Earth. And get this, it's powered by its own onboard nuclear reactor. I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but this isn't a movie. This is where construction is heading. Okay, now this is where it gets really mind-blowing. Think about the old way. You dig a bit, then you stop and reinforce it, then you build a little, step by step, super slow. This new machine, it does all of that at the same time. It excavates, it reinforces the walls, and it builds the final structure, all in one continuous process as it moves downward. It's not just a drill, it's a mobile factory, 3D printing a building into the ground. And since it's fully autonomous with its own power source, it just doesn't stop. It works 24/7, no breaks, no shift changes. Think about that. The entire need for huge crews of people working in dangerous conditions deep underground, gone, just completely eliminated. All right, so we've got the clever old way versus this brand new futuristic game changer. Let's actually put them side by side, a little face-off so you can really see just how massive this leap forward is. And wow, just look at this breakdown. It's not even a fair fight, is it? Labor goes from entire crews to zero. The process goes from sequential steps to doing everything at once. Speed, power, scale. I mean, in every single metric, the mega boring machine is just on another level. This is an upgrade, it's a total reinvention of the whole process.
But hold on, it gets even better. Beyond just the raw power and the incredible speed, this new method has a secret weapon. A truly brilliant feature that's built right in from the start. It's something the old way couldn't even imagine. Water, a built-in gravity-fed water system. As the machine is building downward, it simultaneously installs a system to bring in filtered ocean water. So from day one, the structure has its own limitless water supply. And the best part? No pumps, no electricity needed. Gravity does all the work for free. That is just genius.
Okay, so it's faster, it's more efficient, it's even self-sustaining with water. But what about the bottom line? What about the money? Well, this is where the whole thing goes from cool idea to absolute revolution. Let's look at the economics.
And this quote really says it all, doesn't it? The cost savings are extraordinary. We're not talking about saving a few percentage points here and there. The word extraordinary is used for a very, very good reason.
Just look at this graph. It's so simple, but it tells the whole story. The cost of a traditional project is that huge bar on the left. The cost with this new automated method, it's that tiny bar on the right. The difference is just staggering. It means projects that were pure fantasy because they were too expensive are now suddenly on the table.
So where do all these savings come from? Well, it's a perfect storm of efficiency. First, you wipe out human labor costs. Poof, gone. Then you shrink the construction timeline from years to months, which saves a fortune on financing. Plus, the machine uses materials with robotic precision, so there's almost no waste. It's a top-to-bottom optimization of everything.
So when you put it all together, the insane new technology and the incredible cost savings, the potential is just hard to even wrap your head around. We're not just talking about building deeper foundations anymore. We're talking about building entire habitats, whole cities right under our feet. And this is maybe the best way to think about it. Picture a skyscraper, all of its floors, its infrastructure, its sheer scale. Now, just flip that image upside down and have it plunging deep into the earth. That's the kind of vision this technology makes possible. And I want to be clear, we're not talking about fancy basements here. We are talking about true megastructures. We're talking hundreds of meters deep, with everything you'd need to live, work, and thrive down there. And that's really the bottom line. This isn't just a cool piece of engineering. This technology takes the idea of massive underground cities from science fiction to practical reality. It makes them efficient, affordable to build, and totally sustainable. So here's where we land. The tech is basically here, the engineering problems are being solved, the economics make perfect sense, everything is lining up. The only real question left is, are we ready for it? Are we ready to start building our future not by reaching for the sky, but by digging deep into the earth? It's a pretty wild thought.